The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on.
Hey, my cosmic cousins, it's your girl, Nova Charm, and welcome to another episode of Astrology Tea with Nova Charm. And on today's episode, y'all, I got a good one for you. On today's episode, we are going over the complex natal chart of the high fashion multi-mogul Tyra Banks, baby. So we're going to be reviewing her natal chart placements and how Tyra has used these placements for the elevation of her celebrity brand. Now, you already know I'm going to get a little messy with it because I'm going to definitely look at how these placements have played a part and how she interacts with other women, her role on America's Next Top Model, especially with this new documentary that just dropped, honey. If y'all ain't seen it, go check it out. And y'all already know, cosmic cousins, when it comes to reading these charts, I do not play. So we're going to get deep into it, all right? But before I do, you already know what to do. Stop playing. Go on and hit that like. Go on and subscribe to your girl if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? And hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I be wanting to sip with y'all. Now let's get into it. Now, Miss Tyra's birthday is December 4th, 1973. She was born in Inglewood, California. So let's go ahead and review the placements so we can have an idea of what the sky was doing the day that Tyra was born. Now, it is shown that Tyra is a Cancer rising. She has a Sagittarius Sun with an Aries moon. Her Mercury is in Scorpio. Her Venus is in Capricorn. Her Mars is in Aries. Her Jupiter is in Aquarius. Her Saturn is in Cancer, which it actually is in retrograde, which I find interesting. But you know I'm going to break it down. Now, Uranus sits in Libra for her. Neptune is in Sagittarius. And Pluto is in Libra. Now, just for the plot of it all, her MC, which is her 10th house, is also in Aries, and her North Node is in Sagittarius in retrograde. And we'll just go ahead and take note of her Chiron being in Aries as well, because that's in retrograde as well. And I feel like that plays a part in how she interacts with others. But we'll get deep into it. So those are Tyra's placements. Now let's go ahead and break everything down. Because when I look at Tyra's chart, I can see exactly why she acted the way that she did to them girls. So you know I got to break it down so y'all can see exactly what I see, okay? Now, Tyra being a Cancer rising definitely stood out to me immediately, especially when it comes to top model Tyra. Now, your ascendant or your rising sign is the mask, as some would say. It's the energy that's felt as soon as you walk into a room. Now, Cancer energy itself is that nurturer. It's considered the mother, the moon, that immediate intuition that just kicks in. Now, I love Cancer energy. I love all the energies because they all play a part for us. But we're not going to sit here and try to act like Cancer energy is not erratic and very manipulative at times, okay? And it could be very dramatic, okay? The luminary energy, whether it be Cancer or Leo, and I know Leo like, damn, what the fuck I do? But whether it be either or, it is. It's just a little dramatic. It's a little dynamic, okay? Now, with that being said, she gives off the persona of that motherly or big sister vibe. And I could definitely tell that is what the girls were feeling. And that's why they felt safe and secure with her. But it also explains why she was so highly emotional. Of course, there's other things that play a part in that as well. But she didn't mind expressing that shit, you know. And she definitely utilized that energy. She wanted to come across as that mentor who nurtures the contestants on that show. Now, because the fact that this mood is so flippant, you never know what type of Tyra you gonna get. And that energy can sometimes be suffocating to others when you have somebody who, I mean, you know they want the best for you, but at the same time, they just make it as though it's either their way or no way. Like you are not allowed to question any type of authority when it comes to these people. Now, because of the fact that Cancer also deals with home, I feel like this also played a part in her branding when it comes to her modeling career overall. Tyra's brand was always that homegirl from around the way type of energy. You already know. She wanted to give off a persona of this is somebody who you could just be walking outside and you just kind of stumble upon. And this is where her and Naomi's clash kind of came in, because whereas Tyra was more of the around the way type of girl, you had Naomi Campbell who had more of that ice princess or that ice queen type of energy. You weren't going to find her in nobody's hood. And she was okay with that. But for a long time, this is what made Tyra likable and relatable. Now, because that Cancer energy is always going to do what it do, she definitely played into that and allowed it to play to her advantage. Now, that Cancer energy is also the energy that definitely gave us that I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you moment that she had with Tiffany. It was dramatic. It was meant to be motherly at the time, or at least to come across that way. You know what I mean? But really, it was just a humiliation ritual for them girls for ratings. That's what's so crazy about it. But I digress. Let's get into that Sun energy. That Sun sis is Sagittarius. As a matter of fact, so doesn't her Neptune and her North Node. And her North Node Sagittarius is in retrograde. So we're going to get into that as well. Now, Sagittarius energy loves to travel. It's that wise truth seeker that wants to expand everything. Now, that Sun energy being the core of you and also the energy that you want to present out to the world. And that Neptune being those big dreams, as well as that North Node being the direction that you are headed in life. Tyra was literally meant to bring all her dreams into reality. Taking those dreams from Neptune and bringing them into the light of the sun, and that also being a part of your path, definitely plays a part on how she just keeps expanding. She really plays into those energies. Always seeking a path forward, always looking for another way to expand her brand. I mean, our girl was doing everything from modeling, acting, television production. She's an author. She done been to Harvard Business School, and with the innovation of America's Next Top Model, which we'll get into a little bit more of that when we talk about that Aries energy. But as you can see, our girl ain't took a break. She literally was capitalizing on everything that she could in the 90s, as she should, okay? Now, retrograde energy deals with karmic energy, especially when we're talking about these nodes, okay? So her determination for expansion definitely plays a part in this. And it helps me see why Tyra really just wanted to be seen as that wise leader when it came to these girls, as well as that nurturing spirit when it comes to these girls with that Cancer rising. But because Neptune is involved with this energy, there is a little bit of delusion behind it, okay? So lines can often be blurred, when it comes to the visionary stage of things, because, I don't know what our girl was thinking with that model land. All right. But I mean, that's the price you pay when you're a visionary. Sometimes it's going to be a hit like America's Next Top Model, and sometimes it's going to be a miss, like Model World. But this is the same energy that created Smize. So I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? She taught us all how to smile with our eyes, okay? And of course, because of the fact that Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, you already know that Jupiter energy definitely plays a part with her Jupiter being in Aquarius. But we're going to stick a pin in that and come back to it. Y'all know how I like to do. Let's move on to that moon, okay? That moon in Aries, as well as that Mars, that midheaven, which is her 10th house, as well as her Chiron. Now, the Chiron is in Aries retrograde. And we'll get to that in a minute. But without a doubt, this is definitely her most volatile sector of her chart. I'm just saying. Aries energy is so sporadic, and it wants to be the first to get things done. It wants to be the first to ever do it. It's completely intense. It fights for what it wants. It's assertive and aggressive as hell. And this energy adds a lot to her fire energy. Now, with that being said, the first thing that I thought about seeing this energy in her 10th house, knowing that Saturn just went into Aries and having this documentary drop. Now, child, if this shit just ain't on cue, I don't know what is. I'm just saying, knowing that the 10th house deals with your career success and your overall reputation to the public, and that shit literally dropped 2 days after Saturn went into Aries. Stop playing. That 10th house energy and that Saturn energy definitely has some karmic edge to it. And it also is sitting in her Venus, which deals with that beauty. We'll get into it though, but I just found that so crazy that happened like that. But it's so on brand to astrology. And she trying to drop another cycle of America's Next Top Model. Okay. All right. Astrology really just be on brand. You really just have to just read the stars and know what's going on. But that documentary definitely dropped right on time. It was time for Tyra to pay up. Okay. Now, it's not just the 10th house that we're looking at when it comes to this energy. So that's what makes this a little bit more interesting, if you will, because this energy is sitting in her moon. which deals with her emotions, and this definitely plays a part in her rising sign and how she is just so overly emotional and a lot of those erratic, impulsive type of, behaviors. And this moon energy is in the 7th degree, which is the Libra degree. So it's more than likely going to be dealing with things that has to do with Venus, which is beauty, love, and money and different things like that. But this gears more towards the beauty of it all and business relationships, those partnerships. Now, Aries is the first house, so it is very me-centered. It's all about self, okay? Aries being the house of self, it's always going to think about me first. And that being in someone's moon, they can sometimes have a hard time feeling other people's feelings. The energy is very me-focused. And there's sort of a competition element when it comes to feminine energy. I'm just saying. And I honestly feel like this kind of played a part in how she viewed the girls. Even though she wanted to come off as this nurturing type of individual, with that energy being in her moon and in her Mars, as well as that midheaven, it definitely lets me know that when it comes to other feminine energy, she definitely sees it as competition. And by her having an Aries Mars, which Aries is home in Mars, it very much lets me know that she is highly competitive as well as impulsive. But this energy also makes her that pioneer. She damn sure is not afraid to go after the things that she wants. She's not going to be afraid to tell you what's on her mind. Now, she might be a little emotionally disconnected from it, but she's not going to be afraid to speak on it. All of this Aries energy definitely gives her a self-serving type of energy. And I could almost guarantee that this is the energy that bumped heads with Naomi. Now, for those of you who did not know, back in the day, Tyra and Naomi had the major feud. They just did not like each other. Now, Tyra kind of made it seem like it was more on Naomi's end. But looking at Tyra's placements, I could see how she kind of played her girl next door image as a way to kind of control the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like, that Cancer energy is very manipulative, and that Cancer rising energy, as well as her Mercury and Scorpio, which I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, that kind of plays a part in that. Now, this energy had a lot to do with the fact that in the early 90s, Naomi was kind of like the only black supermodel that was out there working. And so when Tyra came into the scene, she was immediately labeled the next Naomi. And Naomi, like, the next Naomi? Shit, I'm still here. What are you talking about? So that type of energy will automatically just breed competition. But with Tyra's Aries energy, she definitely thrives off of that. Now, this is sad, right? Because there already wasn't that many black supermodels that was representing. So the fact that these two ladies were pent against each other instead of being like a collaboration, I feel like there's room for all of us to eat. But you already know they try and pin us against each other and make it seem like, there's only room for one of us to eat. And like I said, Tyra's energy actually thrives off of this. Now, in 1992, there was a Black Girl Coalition. Some of the other supermodels who had been in the game for a long time got together to protest the underrepresentation when it comes to black models. Now, of course, that is what they intended, but the attitude for all of the models was, because they were literally only giving one spot to black models, everybody pretty much had to fend for themselves. And Tyra damn sure wasn't trying to work with Naomi, and she felt like Naomi wasn't trying to work with her. As a matter of fact, she was telling people that Naomi was sabotaging her. She was even specific with incidents when it came to that Chanel catwalk ban, where it was alleged that Naomi said that she wasn't going to walk no more if they kept booking Tyra. There's also rumors that there were some Versace shows that Tyra wasn't allowed to participate in because Naomi said she wasn't going to do no more shows for him if they kept on booking Tyra. Nevertheless, in 2005, they finally had to sit down on Tyra's show, and they agreed to let bygones be bygones, but it came off as very performative because Tyra was on that, you did this to me, you hurt me. And as much as Naomi tried to apologize to her, Tyra really just wanted to ride that victim card. And this is where her Mercury and Scorpio kind of kick in. But I'll get back to that in a minute. The reason why all of this Aries energy comes up for her with this rivalry and this competition energy when it comes to her Aries energy deals a lot with the fact that her Aries energy is linked to her Chiron and is in retrograde. Now, Chiron is that wounded healer. It's the wound that we sustained as a younger child, and we carry it with us throughout life. Now, by her Chiron being in Aries and it being in retrograde, which has this karmic edge to it, and being internalized energy, her wound definitely deals with early rejection. Not feeling good enough, completely fueled by a need to prove herself. Now, this is actually in 12 degrees, this Chiron placement. So the 12th degree is the Pisces degree. So when I say this is internalized, this is something that is deeply internalized to the point we're talking about subconscious energy. She don't even know she's doing it. Now, I honestly feel like this is where that we were all rooting for you energy comes from as well. Now, as we all know, there was that infamous moment with her and Tiffany. And this, I think, was like season 4 or something like that. Anyways, that energy was definitely Chiron based and very much her Aries energy playing out with her moon, her emotions. She does not like it when the girls don't do what she says. When they don't take her advice, it automatically makes her feel like they don't trust her to know what she's talking about. Now, keep in mind, this is her deepest wound. And this just basically deals with how she feels about herself, a sense of self. Being a model is not easy. You got people sitting around criticizing how you look left and right. They don't care to tell you what's wrong with you, and they damn sure don't care to hurt your feelings. It's not an easy profession just sitting around being judged. And because she started in the game so young, this wound makes her feel like she really has to push out there her right to exist. Now, a part of her healing process was creating that America's Next Top Model show, where it's literally a competition show where she is able to lead and control the narrative. Now, that Sagittarius and Aries energy definitely plays so well together because they're both fire signs. And so it gives her that assertiveness, that get up and go, that confidence to get out there and do what she needs to do. That Sagittarius energy plays well in complementary with that 10th house energy where it comes to her reputation and her career, where she is being seen all over the world. Without a doubt, you can say what you want about her. Tyra was definitely one of the biggest supermodels of her time and the first to do a lot of things. When it comes to her modeling career, she was one of the first black angels that established a household name status when it comes to Victoria's Secret model. And that basically turned her into a mainstream goddess. She was the first black woman to appear on a solo cover when it came to Sports Illustrated, the swimsuit issue. She was the first black woman on the cover of GQ magazine. And we know about her being the first to ever do it when it comes to America's Next Top Model with the modeling competition. I mean, America's Next Top Model was so successful, they had to try and bring Naomi in to do a knockoff version of a reality TV modeling competition show. They tried to switch it up a little bit by bringing in 2 other models and changing up the, what the theme was. But it was pretty much the same, like a modeling reality TV show. I mean, come on now. Now, our girl is an innovator, and she's definitely always transmuting and transforming herself, which brings us right into her Mercury in Scorpio. Having a mind that is always wanting to transform. For Tyra, it's all about redefining herself every single time. Now, Mercury deals with your communication, your ideas. It basically is how your mind works, and all about that commune energy. Now, Mercury energy is curious, and by her having Scorpio here, that means that she is straight investigative. The whole time you communicating with Tyra, she's trying to read through what you're saying. She's hearing what you're saying, but she's trying to read the energy through it. Now, with this energy, sometimes your mind can play tricks on you because you have a hard time trusting others. You can be quite secretive and calculated and always thinking about power moves and how you can control a narrative, control a conversation, and control the way others think. Now, this energy was actually excellent for Tyra when it comes to her talk show, though. And when you're in a career based off of looks and the next person coming up might be the one to take your spot, this energy can definitely breed jealousy and envy. So as you can see, when it comes to her modeling, this energy may not have worked so well, but when it comes to her talk show, it definitely played its part. And this girl is really big on her power. So she not only thinks about power, but she loves it because that Capricorn energy is sitting in her Venus. And that Capricorn energy is all about those power plays and building. It's all about building that legacy, baby. And we already know Venus is that planet about beauty, love, partnerships, that justice, peace, and attraction. Now, this Capricorn energy, the reason why I lined it up like that is because it's in a 20th degree, which is a Scorpio degree. Anything Tyra does, it's all about building into that legacy. She's very drawn into that. Even when it comes to her relationships and who she's dating or who she's married to, you better know that it's going to somehow be profitable and be building into that legacy that she is trying to build. It's all about status. She doesn't view beauty as a form of art. She views it as a business, a bankable commodity. And I had all the pun intended in that, okay? Banks is definitely about them banks. Now, speaking of banks and adding to her banks and building into her legacy, let's get into that Jupiter, because you know that Jupiter is all about that abundance. And that sits in Aquarius, which that Aquarius is on that axis of Leo, which, yeah, that's that model energy. It's also any type of actor or actress. Yeah, that Leo and Aquarius energy is on the same axis, and they play very well into that. That Aquarius energy is that unique look. That is what models are. Aquarius energy is that innovator. It's the uniqueness that we all embrace about ourselves, and it also deals with technology. Because of the fact that Tyra always is looking for a way to expand, turn her dreams into reality, and build into her legacy, her Jupiter energy gets a lot of play, okay? Now, I can completely admire on how she is able to utilize all of her placements and allow them to blend together to create all of her different career ventures. That Aries energy always wants to start something new. That Sagittarius energy always wants to expand. That Scorpio energy wants to build into her power. And that Capricorn energy wants to build into her legacy, which allows her to lean into her Aquarius energy of always thinking into the future. From taking her career from the runway to the cover of magazines over to the field of acting when she was on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as well as her role that she played in Higher Learning as Deja, and her movie Life Size, which kind of became a cult classic. From there, creating and starring in The America's Next Top Model, which had actually 24 seasons with an estimated revenue of $1.7 billion, which is reported on the back end. Tyra made about $30 million. Then taking that and expanding to the Tyra Banks show, which actually had 2 daytime Emmys, then venturing off to Tyra Beauty, then becoming an author with the Model Land novel, which is a book based off of her industry experience, to the global expansion of her ice cream, which is Smize and Dream, which is located in LA, Dubai, and in Sydney. And not to mention, she done went completely over to the innovative side when it comes to the technology. She has the unconventional networks. Now, this was leading into her launch for the typef.com and her beauty tanner. Now, this is actually a multi-level marketing system that she has built. When I say this girl is building into a legacy, we're not playing, and it don't stop. Her Aquarius energy is what entered her in the game in the beginning. Because of the fact that Tyra had that look of the girl next door, but it was still a little different. Like, she had that big ass forehead, and we all talked about the Tyra Banks forehead. But it actually became her signature. And because of the fact that she embraced this difference within her so proudly, is part of the reason why she was able to even elevate into her career in the first place. Now, I talked a lot about her Cancer energy as far as her rising was concerned, but let's talk about a little bit about that Saturn in Cancer, okay? Because that's heavy karmic energy because it's in retrograde, okay? Now, because of this energy, there's automatically a heavy burden when it comes to family, as well as when it comes to security, too. Now, this is not in the sense of financial, because Tyra grew up middle class. Like, her parents both had really good jobs. I think her mom even took pictures for NASA or something like that. So we're not talking about a struggle, but there is something I feel like that is karmic from generations past that gives her this incredible, overwhelming burden to want to take care of everyone and make sure that the family is secure. Now, keeping in mind that Cancer energy is in the opposition end when it comes to that, because Cancer and Capricorn are actually sister signs, but there is definitely a lack of nurturing or feeling nurtured. It gives a lot of the energy that I was talking about earlier when it comes to her rising sign. Like, she has a natural energy as a nurturer. She just doesn't know how to quite be one, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's there because it's in her rising sign. So her energy naturally gives that off when you first meet her. But it's almost like, because of the fact that she's so protective of that energy, it's more performative. Like, she really is going to keep it all to herself. She's going to give you the impression that she's going to give it, but she ain't really going to give it. You know what I mean? But this energy can definitely come off as overprotective, overprojection, and just over parenting completely. Like, it can really come across as a lot. And because of the fact that this energy can definitely be calculated, she definitely picks and chooses when she wants to utilize it, when she wants individuals to see it. But it almost feels like anytime you see it, it's not going to be real. Unless you just know her personally, she's going to keep those inner thoughts, those inner things to herself. She's going to build her legacy in the dark. You're not going to know nothing about what's going on until she just presents it. Which I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next cycle of the America's Next Top Model, the 25. Now, this is definitely an effort for her to build back into her legacy some more. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, that documentary that dropped 2 days after Saturn went into Aries. Now, that Aries energy and that Saturn energy is now sitting in Tyra's her moon, which deals with her emotions. And those things that she likes to keep in the dark, the things that are down in the root of her Mars, which deals with her aggression and how she fights, how she asserts herself and how she goes after things. Her midheaven, which is her 10th house, which deals with her reputation, her career, and her legacy, as well as her Chiron, which is her old school wound. Now, with that being said, Daddy Saturn entering in all of those places, child, okay, that documentary was just the beginning, okay? There's going to be a lot more things that will be coming to light. I feel like, especially when we get into April, once Uranus steps into Gemini, by her even starting this new cycle, child, you ain't doing nothing but making the girls mad, okay? Now, I honestly, ain't really thinking about either one of the J's because I feel like they was literally her henchmen at the time, and both of them just mad because Tyra went on about her business. That's just what she does with all that Aries energy, okay? But when it comes to these girls, yeah, Tyra definitely about to have to pay up karmically, okay? Child, the North remembers. And not only are they remembering, but they're reminding her ass. We're talking about Lisa's diaper incident where she urinated in a diaper at a photo shoot, and Tyra literally allowed the footage to be aired for the shock value of it all, when it was obviously at the time a mental health crisis. Then the time she told Kelly that her face looked like a snout, all of them blackface photo shoots that she had. Like, Tyra, why? You had a black model right there. I understand that you was trying to show different beauties, but no, that's not how this shit work, okay? It was completely racially insensitive with your dumb ass. And then let's talk about Danny, which she looked good, by the way, y'all. She looked good in that series, okay? And when you was talking about her teeth and the gap in her tooth, which actually was her signature look, but you tried to pressure her to change it. I feel like that was actually one of those jealousy type of moves on Tyra's part, because I feel like she knew. Tyra just did a lot of messed up shit on that show. Let's just be plain. Now, of course, she done addressed some of it, and she done said that she done did some dumb shit. Hindsight is 20/20 and all of this good stuff. But my thing of it is, by you launching a new show, people are going to be watching like a hawk just to see if she going to be back on her bullshit. Now, overall, looking at Tyra's chart, you definitely see with her Cancer rising, her Sagittarius Sun, and her Aries moon, that this is a woman who is a nurturing warrior, okay? Without a doubt. Now, her Cancer energy definitely makes her crave a tribe, but that Aries energy makes it hard for her to blend in. She wants to stand out. Now, that Mercury in Scorpio is always going to ensure that she is 3 steps ahead. And no matter what question is being asked to her in public, she going to have an answer already pre-made, okay? Now, because of the fact that she has that Aries moon and she has that Capricorn Venus, she's going to make sure that every emotional breakthrough, quote unquote, that she has is going to be a taxable event, okay? She always going to make sure she going to make a coin or two off of it, okay? Now, that North Node in Sagittarius, which is retrograde, suggests that her life's purpose is to expand the boundaries of how we define beauty. But her Saturn in Cancer, which is also in retrograde, means she will always be plagued by feeling that she is not enough. And that Chiron in Aries will always add to that. Now, this will always lead our girl down a path of overachieving and a hyper fixation on always wanting to be the best and creating something new. Now, whether you love her or whether you hate her, now one thing's for sure, Tyra has definitely mastered her energy in her own way. And even though her legacy is currently fractured, she definitely did her thing to build her legacy her way, as well as helping put a spotlight on other girls. Now, as she floats further into her 50s, she's definitely still on her global expansion tour. But don't get it twisted, y'all. There is some karmic debt that has to be paid, and we're going to see it. Mark my words. Now, Cosmic Cousins, if you made it this far in the video, you already know you were supposed to be and hit that like. And if you haven't already, you better go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yes, you should. And also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I be wanting to sip with y'all. I'm out of here, Cosmic Cousins.